in a sun-drenched corner of West Africa, nestled between a winding river and a dusty red road, there stood a village called Arepo. It wasn't marked on any map, but those who lived there knew it was the heart of the earth. This is the story of a girl named Amara, a name that means grace, though most had long forgotten that. The midday sun filtered through the sheer cotton curtains of a city mansion, casting golden light on a woman seated by the window. Her name was Adena, the eldest daughter of the Okik family. Her eyes were sad, reflecting the weight of broken promises. Amara, she said slowly, you have to be very careful. Amara sat on a low stool beside her, her hands folded in her lap, eyes wide. This was her first time in the city, and she'd expected excitement, not this heaviness. Don't let our fate become yours, Adana continued. Beauty attracts many things, but not all of them good. He married me because I was beautiful. Then I got pregnant, and everything changed. My skin, my shape, and so did he. He runs after campus girls now. Cheats on me like it's a hobby. A man who wants you just because you're beautiful. That's a curse, not a blessing. Her voice cracked. I wish I had known. But now I am stuck. Before the pain, before the warnings, there was a story, and it begins in The Okik household was not the largest, but it was filled with the scent of pepper stew and the laughter of 3 daughters. Okik the father was a carpenter. Chinelo his wife was a seamstress known for her skill with Ankara fabric and her wisdom in raising girls. Their youngest, Amara, was born on a Harmattan morning. The sky was dusty, and the wind whispered through the village trees like an ancient lullaby. She will bring us grace, Chinelo had whispered, tears in her eyes. We'll call her Amara. Even as a child, Amara's beauty turned heads. Her skin glowed like polished mahogany under the sun. Her eyes were wide, like the river at dawn. The villagers marveled at her, often stopping her on her way to the well just to say, "You are truly Ego Uumbu pounds and dollars baby." The nickname stuck. Even her parents used it. No one called her Amara anymore. At first, she giggled when people said it, not knowing what it meant. But as she grew, she began to understand. To them, her beauty was wealth, value, a future investment. But she was more than that. Amara had hands that could thread a needle in seconds, and dreams stitched into every piece of cloth she touched. Her mother taught her sewing, not as a chore, but as an inheritance. Chinelo would say, "A woman who can make something with her hands will never beg. Remember that." Amara remembered. Her sisters, Adana and Chioma, were also beautiful. Adana's laughter could melt the coldest mood. Chioma's eyes sparkled when she danced. City men came with shiny cars and expensive promises. The weddings were grand lace, music, goats roasted on open fire, girls ululating in celebration. But within months, the letters stopped. Then came the whispers, then the silence. Amara would see her mother hold the phone tight to her ear, nodding, frowning. One day, she asked, "Mama, are Adana and Chioma happy?" Chinelo paused, looking at her with eyes that seemed older than time. Marriage is not happiness, Amara, it is endurance. When Amara turned 16, she traveled to visit her sisters. Odana's mansion was large, but its beauty ended at the walls. Inside, her smile was brittle. Her husband barely looked at her. "After I gave birth," she said, "he started acting like I was invisible. Said I let myself go, as if pregnancy was a crime." Chioma's home was worse. Her face was swollen from bruises. "I can't leave," she whispered. "Mama and Papa rely on the money he sends. I don't have skills. I don't have options." Amara listened, her heart torn in two. She returned to the village with bags of clothes and gifts, but none of them brought her joy. That night, she sat with her mother beneath the mango tree. "Mama," she said, "Adana and Chioma are not okay." Chinelo said nothing. "Mama, why didn't you stop them?" "Because I could not." Chinelo answered, "Do you think I am happy with your father all these years? A woman must endure." Amara looked into her mother's eyes and saw resignation. Decades of quiet suffering. That night, She made a vow. Asterisk, I will not live like this. I will not be another bride in a golden cage. From that day forward, Amara studied like never before. She sewed clothes for villagers to save money. Her hands became faster, her patterns more refined. By 17, she had enough saved to consider college, her dream, to study fashion design and textiles in the city, on her terms. One day, a man in a luxury car stopped her on the village road. "You are beautiful," he said. "What's your name?" She smiled politely. "My name is Amara." He grinned. "I want to marry you." She looked him dead in the eye and said, "I'm not for sale." On her first day of college, Amara wore a mask, a literal one stitched together with scraps, designed to hide her beauty. She wanted to know, would they like me if they couldn't see my face? Students laughed. Friends she'd made in orientation shunned her. Lecturers who praised her suddenly ignored her. It hurt, but she endured. Because this wasn't about approval. It was about purpose. At night, she removed the mask and stared at herself in the mirror. "Amara," she whispered, "you are not your beauty. You are your hands, your dreams, your voice." Amara loved her father Okik, but he was a man of few words. His approval came not through praise, but through silence. If he did not scold you, you were doing well. He was proud of Amara's beauty, though he never said it outright. But his pride came with expectations. To him, beauty was opportunity. "City men are coming to marry girls like you," he once said while carving a chair in his dusty workshop. "They have money. They'll take care of you. That's better than this life, eh?" Amara didn't reply. She just sat there, quietly threading her sewing needle. The wood shavings fell like red snowflakes around his feet. But his words felt heavier than anything else in the room. He didn't mean harm. He simply believed what every man in Arab had been taught that a daughter's future should be. Secured with a husband who had money. But Amara wanted more than safety. She wanted purpose. One morning, Amara went to fetch water at the river, a routine she loved for its silence. There, she found Mama Olamide, an old widow who lived on the edge of the village. She was humming as she washed a piece of cloth in the river. Her back was curved like a gourd, her eyes cloudy with age. "Amara," she called out, "you are walking with the weight of thoughts. Sit here. Let me lighten them." Amara sat, shy but curious. "They call you ego." Mama Olamide chuckled, wringing the cloth. "Pounds and dollars, baby. That is what they say now. But tell me what happens when the pounds turn to debt. What happens when beauty fades?" Amara said nothing. Mama Olamide looked her straight in the eye. "I was once like you. Pretty enough to silence a room. Men lined up with yams and goats, and silver bangles. I chose the one who promised a house in the city. You know what he gave me? A room full of loneliness." She paused, wiped her hands dry. "When my beauty faded, he brought home a younger girl. Said I was a burden. I came back here and started again from scratch. Washing clothes for coins. But I survived because I had a skill. I could make soap. I could clean. I could serve." Then she pointed at Amara's hands. "You have gold in those fingers. Never trade them for a smile or a car." Amara nodded. Her heart stirred. She left the river that morning with more than water. She carried wisdom. That season, the village prepared for the Festival of Threads, an annual tradition where the best weavers, dyers and tailors showcased their work. Chinello, Amara's mother, hadn't entered in years. But this time, Amara insisted. "Mama, let me submit one piece. Just one," she pleaded. Chinello was hesitant. "Those who win have workshops. You only have a corner of this house. But I have you. And I have my hands," Amara replied. They worked under oil lamps, late into the night. Hand sewing a gown made of deep, blue osier fabric, detailed with golden thread that caught the light like tiny flames. On the day of the festival, their piece hung among the rest, modest but radiant. People walked by it and stopped. Some whispered. Some stared. The village elder, known for his sharp tongue, came back twice, just to touch the stitching. Amara didn't win the competition, But she won something greater. 3 women asked her for commissions. A teacher invited her to an art workshop in the nearby town. A woman from the city asked for her contact details. It was the first time Amara saw a different path forming in front of her, a path made by her own hands. After the festival, Amara traveled to visit her sister Adena again. This time, they sat in the backyard, away from Adena's cold husband and his business calls. "You looked so happy at the wedding," Amara said. Adena laughed bitterly. "I was happy. I thought I had one. But now, I wake up and feel invisible." She looked directly at Amara. "Don't marry a man who only praises your looks. Find someone who knows your mind, your work, your ambition. Promise me that." Amara took her sister's hand. "I promise." That night, Amara sat under the mango tree again, staring at the stars. She thought of her sisters. She thought of Mama Olamide. She thought of the threads she had sewn with her mother, the fabric that brought strangers to their door. She whispered to the wind, "I am not ego. I am Amara. I am not for sale." But even as Amara's resolve grew stronger, not everyone was happy about it. The attention she received stirred jealousy. A classmate in the city would do anything to tear her down. A rich suitor would not take no for an answer. A shocking betrayal would test her strength. Will Amara's hands build her future, or will society snatch it away? Watch part 2 coming soon, on Once in Africa.